Afoye Batek, Northern Uganda, near Gino, the champion. I support NRM 100%, but I want to condemn Amir Kwer could give me money, but I'm seeing in TikTok, others are in YouTube. Party is a party, and it shouldn't bring any harm to our community.
In another news development, former leader of opposition and respected academic Professor Ogenga told NBS television that the recent escalation of political violence in Acholi is a dangerous signal of a country drifting away from democratic civility. He warned that unless leaders urgently confront the manipulation of youths and the growing impunity of security actors, Uganda risks normalizing chaos as a political tool. His remarks set the tone for broader concerns now emerging from religious leaders, security analysts, and civil society across the region. Here is what Ogenga said.
People who were UPCs, and we lived very peacefully. For us, the Acholis are largely very intelligent people. And so they will start with argument before they fight. The thing you don't want to do to an Acholi is insult their mother or something like that. But to argue for or against a political body, and before you even listen to them, you disrupt their campaigns and then claim that there were threats. What were the threats? Coming from Ajumani, how do you end up in Kitgum Road? I mean, I think, and by the way, let the country know that I shared my concern with very senior people who have been in government, and they all agree that what happened in Gulu is regrettable. We are prepared to leave it at that, but nobody should repeat it. And by the way, if the campaigns allows a presidential candidate to move, that priority must be given to the presidential candidate. And the police cannot dictate. The police is not looking for votes. Their role is to ensure security. But it should not, and it should never dictate which route to take unless there's a clear priority. And secondly, the Electoral Commission it is not sufficient for them to just issue statement. The electoral process is their full responsibility. The police must act under their charge and under their guidance and not be left to do what they're doing.
Other people who are also not sitting on the sideline is Acholi religious leaders has condemned violence during Bobi Wine's Gulu campaign as police launched Prof. A section of Acholi religious leaders in the Acholi sub-region has strongly condemned the violence, intimidation, and alleged security excesses that disrupted national unity platform. That's no presidential candidate Robert Chagulanyi Sentamo's campaign trail in Gulu City over the weekend. The clerics say the incidents not only undermine democratic principles but also expose the deeply uneven political terrain aiding into the 2026 general elections. The concern follows chaotic scenes on Saturday when groups of youth descended on Gulu City. Traders vandalized property and assaulted several supporters of Chagulanyi. Witnesses reported that some security personnel were present but did little to restrain the attackers. A similar confrontation was recorded on Friday in a Naga Town Council, Nuer district, where Chagulanyi was denied access to his supporters by young men wearing NRM yellow t-shirts, and allegedly some were carrying pangas. Speaking during Sunday Mass at Holy Rosary Parish in Gulu City, streamed live on Holy Rosary Parish TV, Reverend Father Eric Umar condemned both the violent groups and the conduct of security agencies, describing the events in Anaga and Gulu as dark moments for the Acholi sub-region. He warned that the rising political intolerance, if unchecked, could tarnish the region's reputation for peace and reconciliation.
ento time ibener ka jenye ata ni amala ala wuri ikilong ibere ya ugani ji mani penyene ubit morie wa chuli kitika tikwerwa iyo mi dokwa ye kitikwerwa kaga mene bibinu ka lako luka mene moti lodge ke won wana chuli ki wi balo way wiwa and one bill ko waneno to waneno lok in wabiri no warie bed merie.
Other prominent clerics have echoed the sentiment. Right Reverend Godfrey Luum, Bishop of the Northern Uganda Diocese, told Favor FM that the violent scenes were unacceptable and terrible, urging the government and security agencies to provide accountability and guarantee equal access to voters for all presidential contenders. The Electoral Commission Chairperson Justice Simon Yabakama also weighed in, condemning the confrontation as unfortunate and uncalled for. His remarks come just days after the EC held a high-level meeting with all presidential candidates and the police to address rising tensions on the campaign trail.
Videos circulating of caning of civilians during the event or during the encounter that have been observed. These actions are regrettable, undesirable, and unfortunate.
According to the police spokesperson, the Uganda police has opened a file of inquiry into actions that involved beating of civilians and the battering of some security details of presidential candidates while guarding the principal.
Whoever has good information in respect to this issue can always volunteer it. And I guess this also will be part of the matters that will be investigated.
He, however, blamed the standoff on Kyagulanyi, whom he says disregarded the agreed route plan to his campaign venues, descending into violent scenes.
On 6th December, we experienced or noted a violent scene in Gulu City through Chitugum Road, where he had a disagreement with our security teams regarding the campaign route, leading to a standoff. Reports of the altercation were received. There are videos circulating.
With questions on whether the military is not overrunning the police operations after images surfacing with police officers being beaten together with civilians in Gulu, the police explained that any officer who acts outside the law will face it without any mercy.
The actions on ground, much as sometimes may develop some stains of violent altercations, do not necessarily draw conclusions that police has been overrun. No. There is usually joint planning.
Kituma indicated that whereas there have been questions on why Uganda prison officers are deployed at campaign rallies of recent, he defended the deployment as lawful. He also explained that the civilians ought to be careful with forces during operations. While the police is calling for calm in the elections, they state that they will not hesitate to take any actions in their line of duty.
Police launched investigation into Gulu clash. The Uganda police force has expressed regret over the weekend's violent clash in Gulu between NUP supporters and security officers. Addressing journalists at Nagur Police Headquarters, police spokesperson Kituma Rusoke described the violence as regrettable, undesirable, and unfortunate. He announced that a general inquiry has been opened to establish what transpired. Kituma warned that any officer found to have acted outside proper conduct could face disciplinary action, adding that no personnel will be shielded from the law. According to police, security forces, including officers from the Uganda People's Defense Force, UPDF, blocked access to Bagwere grounds, preventing Kyagulanyi from holding his scheduled rally. Along Gulu Airfield Road, several supporters were beaten, including Kyagulanyi's music producer and head Dan Magic, who suffered head injuries. Videos circulating online showed plainclothes individuals and soldiers striking NUP supporters. Some of the blows landed on police officers assigned to Chaguleni's protection team. Journalists questioned the police preparedness to control political tensions, especially in situations where soldiers and unidentified individuals appeared to take the lead. Kituma said top commanders are currently reviewing standard operating procedures, that's SOPs, to improve coordination and prevent a repeat of such incidents. This is not the first confrontation targeting Chaguleni's campaign. Since the campaign season began in September, several violent episodes have been reported, including the mass arrest of more than 100 NUP supporters in Bara on November the 7th. Chaguleni has consistently accused the security forces of attempting to sabotage his outreach to voters.